Enter mode.
I have my mic off.
One moment. Okay, audio please. Thank you.
Okay, there we are. Thank you so much for the resub. Leaf. Okay. I do have tea. I haven't made it yet, so you can choose which type of tea. You're on, and you don't need to be on. Leaf, eat. No! How many times must we go over this? I have oolong, I have green, and I have black tea. All my interesting teas are in the kitchen. I don't feel like going getting them. I also have a eucalyptus and mint and a rote one. How much? I mean, last time I had seaweed, I ate the seaweed. That technically counts. I don't have any right now, which is sad. I need to order some groceries for when I get back. Real leaf? What counts as real leaf? I'm gonna have green tea. Tree. Am I going to have to find some form of edible leaf to satiate you? That comes from a tree. I don't know what's... Oh, well, no. Not all leaf is edible. You wouldn't want to eat poison ivy. If you eat... Oh my god. I had cabbage today. Does that count? Those are leaves. No, it doesn't count. Excuse me while I make my tea. We will spend... No. Where? Travis, I'm in space. We don't have the trees here. I'm not going home over the holidays and then proceeding to eat the nearest tree I see. I don't think that would satiate you anyways, because I'm not doing it on stream. I hope you were doing well, though. Speaking of going home, so I haven't exactly planned out which day I'll be heading back to my dimension. Probably this coming weekend we'll celebrate my birthday, and then I'll probably be heading back. So, the 14th, the Wednesday, is my birthday. I'll be streaming earlier in the day than I usually do. Just due to later in the day I'm going to be doing some things. And then, probably, I'll see how everything lines up. And we'll go from there. This audio is not great today. What is it doing? There we go. Alright, we will leave the tea to steep. And there we go. So... Oh, I didn't mean to click, Kano. I love you, bud, but not right now. So, continuing forward, I think we need to go down this Osawa route. And then we'll be at the end of the hour for all of them, thus continuing the story. I think that's where we're at. How are audio levels, by the way? They sound fine? Game could come up a little bit. Is that better? I think it's better. Osawa called up Tanaka over the intercom. There's something I want to show you. Could you come in here? Okay, we've read through this. Here's where it changes. Okay. Here's the soonest we can do this. Going through what we've already read. Haha! Another email arrived in his inbox. The sender, A. The subject line, 1 year ago, South Africa again. Osawa read the message. Do not look away. These are your crimes. This time, there were 4 images attached. Osawa proceeded to open each of them in turn. Just as a heads up, anytime we do Osawa, it's very doctory, very biological. If it's uncomfortable for you, please feel free to tune off. The first shocked Osawa so much that he felt like he'd been punched in the head. One of the UA patients from the earlier images was being injected with something. No. Osawa muttered to himself. It can't be. The second image showed one of the infected, hunched over in pain, vomiting up blood. The symptoms had already manifested, but Osawa thought he could see some of the degree of life that had come back into the patient's eyes. He rushed to open the third image. It showed a morgue, piled high with corpses. The rictus of anguish on the dead faces made them look no longer human. Various fluids seeped from the eyes and nostrils. The lymph nodes were grotesquely swollen. Lymph nodes, small organs that function as part of the lymphatic system in mammals. When a foreign substance invades the body, the lymph nodes detect it, prompting the production of white blood cells such as lymphocytes and macrophages to consume the invader. A viral infection sometimes causes the lymph nodes to swell up as a result of increased activity. Oh, that's where those are. They're right along the neck. Oh no, they're in the lungs. I'm looking at the diagram wrong. Oh, they're right along there. And then they're here. Fascinating. There were hospital beds stained with massive amounts of blood and gastric fluids. Next came the fourth and final image. More corpses. They had badges affixed to their chests with various labels. 6 hours passed, 12 hours passed, and 18 hours passed. It looked as if someone had been attempting live trials with the antiviral agent. Osawa didn't consider the antiviral agent ready for release, but that was because his team hadn't conducted clinical trials on humans yet. There was a good reason why such trials hadn't been conducted. There was no way to test the efficiency of the drug without an infected patient. To run a proper clinical test, someone would first need to be infected with the UA virus. No matter how effective animal testing had been, if the drug proved ineffective on humans, that person would have a guaranteed death sentence. It was unthinkable to run trials that involved such a deadly risk. And yet, as he looked over the images again and again, Osawa became certain. Without his knowledge, someone, presumably someone from Okashi Pharmaceutical, had conducted human testing with the antiviral agent. The time markers on the corpses in the fourth image were surely there to mark the time elapsed since the onset of symptoms. A thorough trial would test the drug's effectiveness in those time frames. Osawa slammed his fist on the desk, enraged. This was nothing short of vile human experimentation in the guise of clinical testing. The people responsible could not be allowed to get away with this. There was only one person Osawa could trust to keep this under wraps. His boss, Makino. He reached for his phone to call Makino, but he stopped short as soon as he picked up the receiver. He knew he was in no state of time to have a calm, reasoned conversation right now. Turning the CD player, he put on Aya Kamiki's latest album. Leaning back in his chair, he surrendered himself to her soothing tones. Bit by bit, he could feel himself returning to a calmer emotional state. There had been a time when Osawa hadn't listened to music at all. In fact, he had no interest in the arts in general, music, painting, cinema. It was only due to a simple coincidence that he had found Aya Kamki. His daughter had asked for a CD as a birthday present when he'd sung by the sword to pick one up. Since Kamiki's new album had just come out, there was a display for it in the front of the shop. Something about the bright, colorful album packaging had drawn him in. After a time, Osawa could feel himself growing calmer. He took a nice, deep breath. Okay, we're at decision time. One moment. So, chat. If we have any decisions, should we call up our boss or should we chill out for a little bit? Sorry, I am messing with my tea. You say B? Also, hi Trilla! How are you doing? Play it safe? Alright. How are you doing, Trilla? How is the debut coming? I've seen your model and oh my god, it's so good! Ha! I am doing quite well. I'm excited. Lots of good things coming up for me, namely my birthday, and I'm always excited for my birthday. I'm allowed to be. I'm still planning. I've planned nothing at all. Very respectful. If you need any help, let me know. Birthday! Yes. Alright. But yeah, if you need help with anything at all, let me know, Trilla. Because I'm very, very excited for you to debut. First, he took a nice deep breath. Then he closed his eyes and tried to banish his nerves completely. Inclining his head toward the music, he could feel the melody pervade his body. Yeah. He could scarcely believe that there had been a time where he hadn't cared about music. Surely something that had such a strong effect on the body and mind alike could be also conveyed a deeper meaning. Osawa let the positive energy flow through him, buoying his spirits. At last, when his mood had sufficiently calmed under the music's influence, Osawa reached for the handset. Mr. Osawa, did you have to make a phone call? The study door had opened, and a stolid-faced man appeared in the doorway. It was Yoshio Kajiwara, one of the detectives from the Shibuya precinct. Yoshio Kajiwara, a detective with Shibuya Precinct's Criminal Investigation Division. He is sociable, but awkward, and despite his reserved personality, he can be quite unsettling. His colleagues at the precinct refer to him by his nicknames such as Japanese Columbo and Little Ken Takakura, given his own quirky demeanor as a detective. He struck Osawa as a bit too soft-spoken and meek for a detective, really. And his treatment of the kidnapping case had given an impression of flighty detachment that made him seem rather undependable. No, it's nothing important. Osawa drew his hand back from the phone. Have there been any developments, Detective? Kajiwara shook his head apologetically. I'm sorry to bother you, but when you're finished in here, would you be so kind as to come to the living room? All right, Osawa said quietly. I'll only be a little bit longer. Kajiwara nodded and departed. He took a nice deep breath, and then he dialed up Makino. Has there been any progress? Makino asked as he picked up. His voice was somber. No, Osawa said. Nothing much yet. A tiny sigh came in from the other end of the line. I see. Then what can I do for you? Sir, I'll just get right to the point. Have you conducted clinical trials using the antiviral drug? Makino didn't respond right away. What makes you think that? He asked at last. Osawa described the emails he'd received. When he'd finished, Makino let out his breath in his surprise. Not over the phone, he said. We'll discuss this in person. I'll head over to your place when I'm done here. As soon as possible, sir. As soon as I can manage, Makino said. You're not the only person who's busy. With that, Makino hung up. There was no doubt about it, then. There had been human testing. Osawa went to let Takana know that he'd be meeting with Makino. I can read. Yeah, Osawa's stuff is very, very somber, so I do apologize for very little hijinks. Kajiwara stood in the hallway. He looked like he'd been waiting there the whole time for Osawa to come out of the study. Are you hungry? He asked. Here, I've got something that's good for when you're tired. Kajiwara then slipped a hand into his suit pocket. He pulled out a banana. Banana, a fruit belonging to the family Musaceae, genus Musa. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, was a huge lover of bananas, and the peanut butter and banana sandwich is said to have been his favorite. If a banana peel is dropped under even remotely comedic circumstances, there's a high chance that someone will eventually slip on it. You're very much into the somber vibes? That's good. And then the game hits stuff with us with stuff like this. I love this game. It's really good. I'm fine, thanks, Osawa said. Kajiwara seemed to lack a detective's sense of situational awareness. Just being around him got on Osawa's nerves. Well, sir, I need you to come with me, the detective said. If you don't mind. He took Osawa by the arm. As Kajiwara hurried him over to the living room, Osawa could hear other detectives talking on the other side of the door. He's working at a time like this? Seriously? Sheesh, I do not get rich people and their priorities. Yeah, I feel bad for his daughter. Her dad's a real piece of work. Oh, damn! Oh, fucking damn! Nice. They were bad-mouthing him in his own house. Oh, I'm really sorry about all that, Kajiwara said, pausing in embarrassment. Osawa pushed past him and opened the door. A number of police detectives had holed up in the living room. They went suddenly silent as Osawa entered. So, tell me, he said rather sarcastically, would you rather I stay here weeping as I watch this disaster unfold? The detectives winced and grimaced. Forgive me, sir, not being a perfect father, he added, his hostility building. Kajiwara stepped forward to intervene before things got out of hand. Now, let's not be touchy. I am not being touchy, Osawa snapped. But he knew full well that he was. These guys had the time to sit around backbiting him, but not go out and bring Maria to safety. Already close to half a day had gone by without any new developments. The ransom demand had come in the previous night at 8 o'clock. Maria had been abducted roughly an hour before. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., by Hachiko in Shibuya, have the sister, Hitomi, bring 50 million yen. If not, the girl's life is forfeit. The kidnapper had called only once, so the police were unable to run a trace. I'll do it, Hitomi said. Anything for my sister. She didn't hesitate in the slightest at the suggestion that she make the handsome Randolph. Osawa had staunchly opposed the idea, but the police were of the opinion that it was better to acquiesce to the kidnapper's demands. Ai's reaction, on the other hand, baffled nearly everyone. We don't have 50 million just lying around. Are the police going to be putting that together for us? Kajiwara stepped in to reassure her. If it comes down to it, the police will be able to help raise the money. Okay, go ahead then, do it. We need you to pay it back afterwards, though, of course. Well then, what's the point of that? Ai's voice spiked into a piercing shriek. Calm down, Osawa told her. You're making a scene. I turned away in a huff. It's all right, detective, Osawa continued. I'll talk to the bank first thing tomorrow and figure something out. At that, I stormed out of the room. Kajiwara bowed his head several times in apology. As soon as Hitomi has made contact, we'll apprehend the suspect and take things from there. What? Hold on, won't that put Maria in danger? If we let the kidnappers get away with the money, we have no proof that he will return the hostage safely afterwards. There was a certain logic there, Osawa had to concede. I see, he said. So you're saying that catching this guy will be easier for you if he keeps my daughter hostage? No, that's not what I was implying at all. Kajiwara wiped the sweat off his brow, bowed profusely. Ooh. I'm having tongue twisters today. It's going great. At least, I promise we'll get your daughter back safe and sound, Mr. Osawa. Obviously, there was nothing to be gained from further challenging the detectives. All right, then. I'll let the police do their job. Osawa bowed even lower than Kajiwara had. How long are you just going to loaf around? I shrieked as she stormed into the room. Hurry up and arrest this guy. She's becoming increasingly hysterical. An hour had passed since the suspect had taken the money, and yet the police had made no effort to apprehend him. The police apparently had a rule against discussing an operation before it was fully resolved, and so Osawa had been left in the dark. But they had overheard the task force talking over the wireless, and it appeared that they were deliberately letting the suspect roam free. Hey! I snapped again. If he gets away with our money, you are going to reverse us, right? Osawa scowled. She made it sound like the money was more important than Maria's life. The detectives exchanged uneasy glances. Osawa chided his wife. It's only money, it doesn't matter, or Osawa said nothing. Are we going to chide our wife, or are we going to say nothing? What does chat think? I know I have my opinions. But that's the nice thing about this game, is you can go back and redo all your decisions very easily. You'd say nothing? Alright. As as a true antisocial, yeah. I, in real life, would say nothing. But in this circumstance, I'd be like, you bitch. Because I is being a bit of a bitch right now, but gonna go with B. Osawa said nothing, but now he was accustomed to Ai's coldness towards the two girls. The twins were Osawa's daughter from his first wife, who'd passed away 15 years ago. I had no blood ties to Maria or Hitomi herself. Oh, that's why she's being a bitch. Well, I continued, are the police going to reimburse us or not? She glared pointedly at Kajiwara. Well, right now we're focused on making sure Maria is safe. I stormed up at him, shouting right in his face. Stop dodging the question. Answer me. Yes, of course, Kajiwara squeaked. Maybe, you would like something to eat to help you calm down. He held out a banana. I smacked that out of his hand. Oh dear, what a waste. Kajiwara scrambled to retrieve the fruit from the floor. Osawa went over to Tanaka and whispered into his ear. I'm going to meet with Mr. Makino. Tanaka nodded silently. Turning, Osawa saw Kajiwara looking in their direction. They made eye contact, but Osawa quickly looked away and strode out of the living room. Kajiwara followed after him. Excuse me, Mr. Osawa? Yes, what is it? The detective fussed sheepishly with his hair and forced a smile. Sir, we'd appreciate if you remained in the living room as much as possible. Osawa was in no mood to stand on proprietary. Look, I've got a ton of work to do, he said. Are you here to tell me to play the role of the grieving father, too? No, not at all. Personally, I just happen to think you're an admirable father, Mr. Osawa. Admiral. Why did the word have a ring of sarcasm? He had no way to tell if Kajiwara was being forthright with him or not. You're no ordinary fellow, Mr. Osawa. You're a genius. A genius? Me? Osawa made a skeptical noise. Am I mistaken, sir? You've made a very important strides in the field of virus research. Oh well, so I've been told. Osawa wasn't sure how to respond. He had never considered himself a genius. He was just someone who's more interested in viruses than he was in other people. Everyone who's a genius is also a little bit odd, after all, Kajiwara went on. Probably he'd intended that as a compliment, but still. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with weirdos. So long as they leave us ordinary folks alone, you know? Is this guy trying to praise me or insult me? Osawa let out a heavy sigh. Genius, weirdo, what did it even matter? So long as he could be left to his work, and he didn't care one whit how he looked in other people's eyes. Kajiwara wiped the sweat off his forehead with a handkerchief. By the way, what are you working on right now? He asked. I'm afraid you wouldn't understand, even I've explained it to you, Osawa replied. Right. Precisely. Even if I gave it my full attention, it would still be beyond me. He peered with sudden intensity at Osawa's face. I'd appreciate if you didn't hide things from me, sir, he said. Osawa gaped, at a loss for words. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kajiwara added hurriedly. Goodness, I made it sound like I'm accusing you of hiding something, didn't I? The detective bowed his head repeatedly. I was hoping you'll forgive me. He held out the banana. That won't be necessary. How about this, then? The time he pulled his bar of chocolate out of his pocket. No, thank you. Did this guy just carry an endless food supply everywhere he went? Oh my, Kajiwara murmured. You geniuses really are the tough to sort out. He inclined his head, mumbling to himself for a moment. What can I get for you then, sir? What I'd really like is some time by myself. In a daze of exasperation, Osawa felt his way to his study. Locking the door, he finally let out a breath that he'd been holding. Then his eyes alighted on the bookshelf against the wall. He pulled out a photo album and began to flip through it. There were pictures of his daughter's grade school enrollment ceremony. Their mother had already passed away from illness, so Osawa had taken the girls himself. He remembered that, after the ceremony, he told me he had come down with a fever. He told me he had been rather sickly as a girl, falling bedridden at the drop of a hat. Maria, by contrast, had been quite lively and energetic, quite the handful. Osawa had found it remarkable that their personalities could be so different, despite them being twins. He flipped further into the album. There was a picture of the three of them at their grade school graduation. Maria was looking away from the camera. Osawa felt that someone had stabbed a dagger in his heart. His daughters of virology. Which truly concerned him more? Which did he truly love? It was ridiculous to try and compare the two. He'd known the answer before he even asked himself. Even so, human emotions were complicated, and sometimes made people act inconsistently. That's a hard word. Hi, Raz! It goes quite well. Osawa's story is very, very somber. Thank you for the cheer. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. I'm gonna have some tea. One of the consequences of that was this photo album. Ooh, food is a good idea. I ate before stream, fortunately. This was the last photo he had of Maria. He searched and searched through the rest of the album, but she was nowhere else to be found. And we're on the to be continued. Alright. We've reached the end of the next hour, so we're going to be starting on to the next one. From 12 to 1. Alrighty. So, do we have a preference of who we want to start with? We can continue with Osawa, or we can switch to one of the other characters. Oops, I meant to go here. Boop. This is where I wanted to go. Because Kano is pursuing after someone. Minorikawa is doing reports. Sawa's reminiscing. Don't know what Tama's up to. And Achi and Hitomi's on the run. This game is so good though. I'm having way too much fun. I'm so invested in this. Even if everyone else is lost. Gonna finish my tea. And then if nobody has any decisions, then I'll probably move on to Tama's and we'll lighten up the story a little bit. Because I know Tama's shenanigans are very funny, so. That is very bitter. Oversteeped it a bit much. Alrighty. In 1 hour, the Burning Hammer sales demo will begin. Cheater is laying out the assortment of snacks that we'll have on hand. Hey Tama, you hungry? Why yes I am. I mean, that should be pretty obvious at this point. All I've had since putting on this stupid mascot costume is some burning hammer and a bunch of iced tea. Hey now, Chidi shoots back. What's with the attitude? Chidi, you do remember that you ate my lunch, right? The sticker said it was best before noon. You just made that up.
Initiate
Yeah.
countdown.
Hi, Nithya.
Man,
I'll get up.
9,
How are you
8,
doing this? I hope you
7,
are doing well.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yay, your reward is back to the original price. It is! I promised Nithya that I'd put it down come December, and I did. As long as they reminded me, and they did. Like 10 minutes before you have to set up for improv? Sounds good. Have fun with improv. I will probably miss it today, just because I'm tired. I don't know. I'm tired. I should definitely come more often. I'll have to rearrange my schedule or something so I can come more often. But yeah, have fun. Chidi totals merrily and chugs some more iced tea. Okay, folks. Mr. Yanagishita will get this name eventually, calls out as he slips into the room. Lunch break's over. Back to work. I don't feel like I've had much of a break. If anything, I'm even more mentally exhausted than I was before. There's a box full of Anagachi toys in the storeroom on the 3rd floor. Mind bringing those down? Anagachi? I asked. What's that? The name makes it sound like some sort of product knockoff. Mr. Yanagishita's face widened in surprise. You've never heard of them? You know, Anagachi. It's a digital pet game where you raise an eel that lives in Tokyo Bay. Anagachi, a portable electronic game in which you raise a conger eel, Anago, feeding it daily and clearing away feces. Depending on how you raise your eel, it can wind up developing to various forms from normal eel to ultimate eel sushi. You can also use the infrared communication feature to bring over friends for your eel. To bring over friends for your eel from another nearby Anagachi device. There's also a sister product, Trout Watch. By connecting the two, you can view special event where the eel and trout characters go to a pub together. What? Amazing. Never heard of it, I say. Huh, well, I guess maybe a lot of people in Japan haven't heard of it yet. But it's all the rage right now with the youngsters over in NYC. NYC? Oh, he must mean New York City. It's popular in New York. Really? Anyway, I did some quick checking, and that's what I learned. So last month I bought a whole bunch of them. And once again, you were swindled. Yep. Ouch. Chidi dropping the hard truth. Mr. Yanagishita lets out a pathetic whimper. No! And just like that, his confidence evaporates. He starts muttering to himself. I thought it sounded a little fishy. Really? I mean, think about it. Why would kids in New York be interested in raising eels from Tokyo Bay? He muses. And what appeal would an eel character even have anyways? None. That's what. I should have known that. I did know it. And why'd you buy them? This farce is getting tiresome. Anyway, Yana Shigita continues. It's gonna cost way too much to keep them in storage. I was just gonna let the recycling guy take them. He hangs his head in shame. In a matter of moments, he's borderline catatonic. Borderline catatonic. The type of eel that gives Anagachi his name, Anago, can be loosely translated as the creature that lives in a hole. Mr. Yanagishita is probably wishing he could crawl into a hole right now. I fucking love this game! They really didn't have to put that in, but they did, and it's fucking wonderful. Judy, on the other hand, flashes a big, bright grin. Still, eel's pretty delicious. Oh, Judy, Yanagishita blurts. Thank you. He clasps her hand in gratitude. I wasn't exactly commenting you, boss. It's the same thing. There's a little bit of me in each of my products. Anagachi and I are one and the same. Oh my god. A brief Anagachi gameplay clip. The trick is to feed your eel proper food and give it proper exercise. Another important strategy is to make sure to obtain the sharp chef's knife when you visit Kababashi Town, Kitchen Town partway through the game. Oops. So yeah, you just raise this eel and then dice it up for food. Which is to say, eels and I are one and the same. Go on then, say something nice about eels. Chidi chimes right in without missing a beat. Eels are awesome. When it comes to eel sushi, 100 pieces barely whets my appetite. I'll be honest, eel is fucking delicious. I really like eel. Like, if I had to choose a fish to eat, it's eel. I actually really like eel. It's really good. You know, these two make quite a pair. That really means a lot to me, Chidi. Thank you. Thank you. I don't understand what any of this is about, but if it helps mend Mr. Yanagishita's wounded spirits, I guess I can't complain. I leave them to their devices and head for the storeroom. Oh god, that's fucking scary. The storeroom door opens with a rough grating sound. Okay, now where's the light switch? Ooh, yeah, salmon would have to be my second choice. Unless it's canned salmon. I don't like canned salmon because there's bones in it and my brain doesn't like that. Salmon's really good. Yeah. I fumble around the dark, feeling for the switch box. My costume paws mute the sensations in my hands enough that even finding that is difficult. I bat at the wall willy-nilly until eventually the lights come on. Apparently I found the switch, even if I didn't feel it. Whoa, what the heck is this? The storeroom is practically overflowing with shoddy goods. A painting that looks like a child's scribblings, an oddly shaped hat bearing the words, "Grow 2 inches, guaranteed." A cheap-looking pendant with a tag that says it's inset with a miracle stone. Oh my god, smoked salmon. Or candied salmon. I really like candied salmon a lot. I haven't had much tilapia. I should have some more of it. These stones are nothing more than simple glass beads that were purchased around 500? No, 5,000. That were purchased at 5,000 yens apiece. The seller claimed normally these sell for 10,000 a pop, but if you buy 100 of them, I'll give you half off. At which the buyer declared, that really is a miracle, before joyfully agreeing to the purchase. The fact that someone like Yanagishita actually exists to buy these things up is kind of a miracle. It's like this knockoff boneyard where cheap products go to die. They break away from the pathetic herd, knowing their time has come, and end up in this graveyard of a storeroom. Let's see, Anagachi. I quickly spy the cardboard box I'm looking for. Then I catch sight of a dark silhouette out of the corner of my eye. Eh! I yelp. Oh fuck, it's a cockroach. It's one of them. Black, flat, quick, long antenna, often spotted in kitchens. Sometimes, somehow, their legs wind up in restaurant food. Ew. The size, the speed, the dark shape, it couldn't be anything else. It peers back at me from the shadow of the Anagachi box, the faint light catching the luster of his carapace. It looks ready to leap at me at any moment. I need to act fast, challenge it to a single combat, snatch at the cardboard box, and make a run for it. Bye, Nith! Okay, are we fighting this cockroach, or are we running from it? Oh, so I fucking love this. I've never actually seen a cockroach. We're fighting the cockroach. We're fighting the cockroach. I challenge it to single combat. It flitters aloft. It's gunning for me, all right. Bracing myself, I step forward to confront it, which paradoxically helps calm my nerves. I get the seeking suspicion that this isn't the first time I've done battle with one of these things. Fight, fight, fight! It's like I've trained myself to protect someone who's even more scared of them than I am. As I mull that over, that thing hovering there presses its attack against me. Now's my chance. I snatch up the nearby piece of cardboard and swat the creature hard. It sails out the window in a graceful arc, then flitters away into the world beyond. Well, at least we parted on mutual acceptable terms. I didn't have to squash it or blast it with pesticide. Hefting the box labeled Anagachi, I scurry away from the graveyard of Slock's merchandise. I made it. When I get back in the break room, Mr. Yanagishita is still clutching Chidi's hands. And he's super tasty when you salt broil it too. Thank you. But tempura style is probably the best. What the fuck are these two doing? Wait, there's a summary? I didn't know that. Thank you. Well, Mr. Yanagishita's spirits have certainly turned around. Okay, got it. I hold out the big cardboard box. Excellent, thank you. You girls are the greatest, Yanagishita shouts. His voice resounds with gratitude. Hey, that's it. I've got an amazing idea. Why don't the three of us just start our own company? I'll pass. Chidi and I respond in unison. Man, you two shot that one down quick. Well, for today, let's focus on selling Burning Hammer. By the way, I asked, where is the Burning Hammer? It wasn't hanging in the storeroom, and I didn't see any here either. Oh, that's right. It's out back on the loading dock. We should probably bring it in. Oh, and bring the Anagachis with you. The recycling guy is going to be showing up soon. Come on, let's go. Chidi and I followed Mr. Yanagishita out to the loading dock. Ooh, I have a bad idea about this. Yep. But the loading dock, it turns out, is empty. There's no sign of the burning hammer anywhere. It's gone, Mr. Yanagishita murmurs. Then his voice raises to a shout. It's gone! All gone! The burning hammer! It's all gone! Flying into a panic, he searches frantically from one end of the dock to the other, leaping in the air, even peering into the cracks. But no matter where he looks, there's nothing for him to find. I was right here a little while ago. Look, right here, right here. I hear the sound of an engine revving outside. Mr. Yanagishi cries out in alarm. We can see a truck starting to pull away. Its bed piled high with cardboard boxes and assorted trash. Hey, boss. Is that... Yes, there it is! Mr. Yanagishita begins racing after the truck. My burning hammer! His voice cracks as he cries out. Give that back! Give it back! But he's no match for a speeding truck, and the box's burning hammer vanished before his eyes. Burning hammer! Come back! Come back! Yanagishita's wailing echoes from the surrounding the antics of this game. I fucking love this game so much. It's like something out of a movie. What the hell? What's up with that truck? Tama? What the heck was that? Hey, don't look at me, I reply. Huh? With all this piled stuff, it looked like just like the recycling guy. As soon as he says it, revelation dawns on his face. The recycling guy? He mutters. I can see the color draining from his face. The words recycling guy give me an idea. If it was him, maybe he thought he was picking up the Anagachis by We have to find it! We have to find that truck! This man is absolutely beside himself. Chiri, Tama, you two split up and try and track it down. Wait, why do we have to look for it? Again, Chiri and I speak in chorus. If there's no sales demo, there's no money to pay you. And then all the work you've done will be for nothing. Right, when he puts it that way, I guess there isn't much of a choice. Somehow or another, we'll have to find that truck. It can't have gotten far, he continues. Now go hunt for it like your life depends on it. Jade and I look each other and sigh. How do you want to do this? She asks. Want to search together, or should we split up? Alright, do we want to stick with Chidi, or do we want to split up and look for the recycling truck? I love this game. It's so fucking good. I'm going to pour myself some more hot water for my tea. But I love this game. It's so fun. That's why it's just like, let's go Tama's route after something as depressing as Oana's. Right? That's actually what drew me in the first place. I thought it was gonna be like more video interludes instead of just pictures, but I'm actually still very happy that it's just a lot of pictures and not very much video. It works really well stylistically. I love it a lot. It's really, really cool. It's kind of very grounded as a story for as wild as it gets. I really like it. It's also just hilarious. It's sarcastic, it's very tongue-in-cheek. I could sing its praises until I'm done this. Alright, if chat doesn't have a decision, I say we should split up. We should split up. Cheetah and I go our separate ways, searching for a truck full of junk. I make my way to Center Guy. I'm so focused on searching all over as I walk. that I end up losing track of where I'm going and wind up bumping into a man who's hurrying along with his daughter. Teruo and Hana Toyama. They came together to Center Guide to eat lunch. Before that, they were at Heaven's Publishing in Shibuya. One Chome. While wandering around distractedly looking for somewhere to cheap and tasty, Mr. Toyama bumped right into Tama. You know what? That's fair. That is your mini pizza. I want pizza now. Oh, pardon me. I hop back to my feet and go to bow to the man in apology. Ow. These two are boneheads. I love them. He bows at the same time and we manage to bonk our heads together. So sorry. As Dad drops to his knees, clutching his head, the girl begins to wander off. Oh no. Hey, Hana, wait. The man lurches to his feet and rushes after the girl. She seems like an odd kid, only 10 or so, but strangely cold and distant for her age. Oh, 100%. That is your mini pizza. Nursing my own sore head, I make it all the way back to Shibuya Station, but there's no sign of the truck. I'll probably never find it just by wandering around randomly. It's already 12:35. The sales demo starts in 25 minutes. I have serious doubts I'll be able to find the truck by then. What should I do? And we're to keep out. Oh my god, this game is so good. I do think my theory about Tama is correct, though. I do think my theory about Tama is correct. So, I won't speak on it because if I am correct, it's spoilers, but I do think I'm correct. Yeah, that's most, like, what are they called? Frozen pizzas. Yeah, it's not even worth sharing. Who do we want to do next? Because Tama we're at a standstill on. So we can do Achi, Kano, Minorikawa, or continue Osawa. If there's any preference. I know Minorikawa was a reporter looking around for his stories. Kano is chasing after someone. And Achi is running away with Hitomi. Just to catch you guys all up on where those characters are at. Still hungry? Fair. I'll probably eat again after stream. You're making me hungry, how dare you? But if we have no preference, I'm gonna go with Kano. Kano had been watching Syndicate members hand off the Itachi case for an hour and a half. He still had no idea where this relay might be headed. The man he was tailing now was about 10 meters away, close enough that Kano could close the distance and apprehend him at a moment's notice. But his orders remained the same: follow and observe. He watched as the case was handed off once more. By now, the shock of seeing it pass to yet another accomplice had worn off. It had already been 90 minutes, huh? It was Hasayama. At some point, he crept up on Kano from behind. They don't seem like they're trying to get away at all. Kano said they're just walking. What could they be up to? So Hasayama shrugged. Yeah, it's weird. Kano recalled the Dick Dictum, 89. Dick Dictum, number 89. The more irrelevant something seems, the more relevant it's bound to be. If Tatano's wisdom held true, the syndicate must have some reason for what it was doing. Were they just trying to throw out the investigators off their scent? No, that couldn't be it. They were wandering in circles, staying right in the same area. They were just running up the clock. That's exactly what they were after. Buying time. Kano felt a sudden conviction that he was on the right track. If they need more time to make sure they got their hands on the ransom payment... Wait, hold on. Could it be that the real case had already been switched out? The ransom money wasn't even in the case anymore. Does chat have opinions if the one person in chat currently is not off making food? I think they are. I'm thinking this real case had already been switched out. Could it be that the real case had already been switched out? It made a certain amount of sense. By handing the case off to one accomplice after another, they were leading the detectives to pay more attention to the individuals than the case itself. That could enable them to swap the case, all while the focus was elsewhere. Kano shared his hunch with Sasayama. I see. I mean, it's a possibility. Yeah, I might be following the wrong case. There was palpable tension in the air now. Kano, Sasayama said, you gotta report it into Kuze. Food options at my house are not good. That's fair, I understand that. On it. Kano's hand flashed to his wireless. But Kuze was dismissive. Ooh, yeah, that's not great food. It's okay if you want to be, like, quick, but other than that, No, that's the case, I assure you. No offense, sir, but how can you be sure? Kuze sighed. Because that's my job. There's an ID tag in that case that allows us to keep tabs on it. There's no way these crooks could have whipped up a duplicate. ID tag? What ID tag? Wait, no, that's right. Kano had forgotten all about the detail in the wake of his all-nighter. Oh, right. Don't you oh right all me. Clearly weren't hired for your brains. Focus on what you're good at. Kuze ended the call. Still, Kano couldn't shake his conviction that something was off. Oh, yeah. I can't completely disagree with that. Also, just... they're never as good. I mean, they're never good anyways, but... that's even worse. It's just like, at least tell me what's in it. The man with the Itachi case made his way back to Shibuya Station. What the heck? Sasayama grumbled. He's right back where we started. Kano felt his frustration growing. It honestly looked like the syndicate was just randomly lugging the case around town. Near Shibuya Station, a girl approached the suspect. She was Japanese and entirely unlike the other criminal accomplices. She spoke to the man while showing him something on a notepad. He glanced at the pad, but did not slow down. Within moments, he had left her behind. It looked like she had passed him a message. Well, that's sure fishy, Sasayama muttered. What? The girl? Asked Kano. Yeah. Wanna go hit her up? Sasayama could only mean one thing. Questioning her. Yeah, let's go see what she knows. She can't be involved with this case, can she? Do we have opinions, chat? Right? It's just like, list your ingredients, please. I don't know. I don't think this is the stream to talk about that stuff. We can get on that another time. I promise. That's a conversation we can have later when we're not dealing with, you know, kidnapping cases. Emmy, hi! Thank you. I like it a lot. Wait, I haven't given you guys a good close-up. Look at it. It's cute. How do I move myself up? Where is this? Nope, that's the lights. There I am. See? It's cute. I like it a lot. But how are you doing? I'm also in PJ pants. But yes, do we have any particular opinion on where we should go? Should we question this? Ooh, you got a gift? Very nice. Let me know what it is. And send me pictures on Discord. Because I kind of want to question her. Oops. I kind of want to question her. If chat has no opinion. Question? Alright. Yeah, let's go see what she knows. Sasayama and Kano hurried over to the girl. Excuse me, miss, we'd like to ask you a few... Are you happy with your life? The young woman shouted, and thrust her notepad in Kano's face. Tell me this, are you happy with your life right now? Huh? Looking at the notepad, Kano saw the same question written in big, bold letters. The girl's eyes widened in surprise as she hadn't expected the two men to actually stop and listen. Right now, sir, she continued more quietly, are you happy with life? If so, could you please take the survey about, you know, about your life? Are you happy with it? Oh! I know who this is! This is, so in Minorikawa's, he has another person. No, so, the game will probably explain shortly, but Minorikawa has somebody, another reporter he's working with, and this is her. This is the other reporter. We hadn't seen her yet, but this is who she is. She's so cute. I love her style. The more she spoke, the more flustered she became. Already run a cult. They can't join them. Yeah, that's fair. Sama stepped in. Hey, I need to know, did you speak with that Western fellow just now? Huh? No, that's isn't what I'm asking. Sir, are you happy with your life right now? Are you happy with your life right now? Kano got a sinking feeling in his stomach. This kid was looking for religious converts or something! Even they think she's running a cult! That's amazing. Who's to say you can't be multiple cults? You did speak with him, didn't you? Sasame snapped. What did you tell him? Girl's rambling abruptly ceased. Her already ruddy face went even redder and tears welled up in her eyes. Yeah, we really used all the same brain cell. Poor kid, Kano thought. She's just out here trying to get people to listen to her survey questions. There's no way she's part of this kidnapping plot. Look, miss, he said, for the time being it would be a great idea for you to leave the area. Afraid I'm not at liberty to explain. The girl's in response was to start sobbing outright. I can't do this anymore. I want to go home. Kano and Sasam exchanged awkward glances. Thank you for the hydrate. Do you want me to hydrate with tea or water? I want to go home. I want to go home. Passerbys began shooting curious looks at the trio. Kano, you get back to work, Sasayama said. I'll escort this girl to the train station. He didn't quite manage to stifle the embarrassment in his voice. Right, Kano said. I'm not eating the leaves! Travis was already here. We've already went over this. No! Fucking hell. Why are you all like this? Why are you all like this? Why is my chat like this? He'd hurried away, his eyes already searching for the suspect they'd been tailing. It didn't take long to find him. The man's black garb made him stand out in the crowd at the intersection. It occurred to Kano that all the criminals who'd handled the Itachi case had been wearing the same black clothing. Ooh, I don't have any lemon juice right now. That might be nice. Cult. My god. Goth. Yeah, we love goth boys. We love goth girls and boys and non-binaries. The fact made the whole situation even weirder. Could they really be ignorant that they were being followed while they were wearing all the same eye-catching outfit? It was more like they were going out of their way to make sure the investigators spotted them. It still didn't provide any clues as to what they were after, though. The longer Kano kept tailing these guys, the less it all made sense. Was it really such a good idea to keep this up? Someone's life was in danger, and they were just letting the kidnappers carry out their plan, whatever it was. The very first page of the Dick Diary just spelled things out loud and clear on that front. Dick Dictum, number 1. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Ever. Right now, the single most important thing was ensuring the hostage's safety. This was a situation where Tatano would have stuck to his guns for sure. Kano thought back to that day 3 years ago. You always have the one friend with no black clothing and the one friend with all black clothing. That's just a fact. A burglar had shut himself inside a financial office and doused the place in gasoline. Kano had been put on the police box duty and was ordered to the scene because his box was just down the street from the standoff. Nobody is assigned to a detective post right after graduating from the police academy. Detective positions can be quite hard to come by. Candidates are selected for detective training only after accumulating enough experience working at the local police box, a very small type of neighborhood station manned by only a handful of officers. Several officers had surrounded the building, keeping close tabs on the situation. The suspect was shouting nonsense through the entrance on the first floor. Things were getting heated. A crowd of alarmed onlookers had started to form as well. "Step aside," a voice suddenly said from amidst the throng. A middle-aged man with a rumpled business suit had approached Kano as he hovered nervously at the edge of the scene. "I'm sorry, sir," Kano said. "You have to stay back for your own safety." He attempted to usher the man back into the crowd. A no-nonsense look crossed the newcomer's face. He spoke in a low voice. "I'm Detective Tatano from the Shibuya precinct. What's the situation?" The ditch comedy routine. Yeah. Honestly, pranking the Pope does sound very funny, though. I will admit that. That does sound very funny. "Oh, sir, I'm so sorry. Yes, of course." Kano stammered, then quickly explained. "He hasn't taken anyone hostage, but there are still people on the upper floors of the building." Giving only a slight nod, Tatano marched straight up to the building. The plastic container of gasoline the suspect had used was on the ground out front. Tatano picked it up and dumped the remaining contents out over his head. What the fuck? Very confident man. Kano was at a loss for words. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. I've covered myself in gasoline too, Tatano called out from the entryway. The tension air ratcheted itself up several notches. Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? Kano heard from the burglar shouting inside. If you're gonna do it, Tatano called out. We can die together. And he walked into the building. All Kano could do was watch things unfold through the plate glass window. I don't know why he did that. Tatano was talking to the burglar, but Kano couldn't make out the words. The crook was clutching the lighter, his hand trembling. His expression was that of a frightened child. Tatano slowly approached him and took a firm hold of his shaking hand. The onlookers erupted into cheers and applause. Tatano handed the now docile suspect over to the detectives, then wearily sat down against the planter out front. The face is very accurate. It's just like, what? It was like something ripped straight out of a police drama. That was amazing, Kano breathed. You have to deal with guys like that as quickly as you can. You let a situation like this even get a little out of hand, and you never know how things might go south on you. Tatano spoke quietly, almost as if he were talking to himself. As the police evacuated the rest of the building, Kano noticed there was children and elderly people among them. If the perp had managed to set the fire, there was no way they would have escaped in time. But I mean, what if he'd actually set the place on fire? If someone's willing to risk their life, you're not going to convince them of anything unless you do the same. Kano still remembered the awe he'd felt at Tatano's matter-of-fact tone. Like, maybe don't endanger yourself like that? Kano hadn't become a police officer out of any real sense of duty. He just thought it would make Hirumi happy if he became a detective like her father. Besides, civil servants tended to stay afloat in times of recession, and this time playing rugby meant he was in good physical shape for a job. He never really thought too much about protecting the citizenry or keeping the peace. But now, he was in the presence of a detective who literally risked his life in the line of duty without a second thought. A police officer never loses sight of what he's supposed to protect. Ever. Getting back to his feet, Tatano tugged off his gasoline-drenched coat and walked away. Kano wrote the words in a notebook he just purchased. Thus, the Dick Diary was born. Thinking back to the way Tatano had put his life on the line to rescue a bunch of strangers made Kano feel all the more raw about just tailing these syndicate members. Letting the crooks wander around wasn't going to bring Moriya Osawa to safety. All of that, Kano was now certain. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Ever. He uttered the fundamental dictum out loud. Well, you've lost sight of it completely, a voice said out of nowhere. What? Kano spun around. It was Shizuo. Dumi was with him. Ah, fuck. Oh no! Not the father-in-law. Well, not yet. Sir? Kano stuttered. Weren't you supposed to be waiting at the cafe for? There was some lowlife there, so we left. Dumi's dad looked plenty mean under ordinary circumstances. Right now, he looked like a man possessed. Oh, beg your pardon. I'm still on duty at the moment. I'm going back home, Shizuo huffed. You're not marrying my daughter. He turned to walk away. No, please, just wait. I'm done waiting. I'm going home. God, Shizuo's a dick. Please don't do this. Just hear me out. I've heard all I need to hear from you. Dumi, we're leaving. Dad, please. Goodbye. Seizing his daughter by the hand, Shizuo stormed off without another word, dragging her behind. Shinya! She called out over her shoulder. Dumi. She was gone. Dumi was gone. Kano desperately wanted to go after her, but... Whoops. He hesitated in the agony of indecision. I can't turn my back on my responsibilities. I'm a detective. My work has to be first priority. Going after Dumi isn't what a good detective would do. Oh, Detective Tatano, what should I do? Hatano, Still, the dictum echoed in his mind. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Ever. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. 6 months later. What? 6 months later. Kano made his way through a small corner of the vast field in the Nagano countryside. Slowly and leisurely, he tilled the soil. He'd surprised himself with his newfound enthusiasm for organic farming, learning more fish from Scissor day after day. His father-in-law had taught him the ways of farming from the ground up, and whilst other things had been rocky between them at first, their friendship was now growing stronger. Farm boy! Pausing to wipe his brow, he smiled at the maker around moment. Because this means he fucking abandoned the case and went after Ruby, which is really sweet, but also, hostage situation? He looked forward to tending the crops he'd sown until the harvest came around. If he'd stayed as a detective, he might as well never known the joy he'd found in his work. And this wasn't the only seed Kano had planted. By the time harvest season came around, the new life growing within his dear... Why do I have to say it like that, motherfuckers? The new life growing within his dearest Jimmy's belly would be ready to celebrate it with them. Bad end. We got married! I love this game! Oh my god, it's so cute. This man really said, fuck saving someone's life, I'm becoming a farmer for my girl. You should have chose that path long ago. Kano, sweetheart, I love you. Amazing. We will make different decisions later. So far, we haven't seen anything from Osawa. No, we've seen stuff from Osawa today. We haven't seen anything from Achi or Minorikawa today. Do we want to go over Minorikawa's or Achi's story? Who do we want to continue with? Just because we'll be able to get through one more, and then I'll have to end stream. Achi? Alright. I will say, Kano being like, don't lose sight of what you're supposed to protect, this is where Hitomi is. Hitomi's running along with Achi. I mean, she's sort of safe right now, but she's not in line with the police. Like, they don't know where she is. Achi and Hitomi scampered through the back roads along Center Guy, white sneakers and pumps slapping against the pavement. Achi kept his eyes peeled, continually checking ahead and behind as they darted through the gaps between the buildings. Finally, they stopped in a narrow alleyway. There's no way he'll find us here, he said. No one knows about this place. He took another look around, then let out a sigh of relief. Seems like he managed to shake the gunman for now. Yes, they are being chased by a gunman, by the way. Back when Achi was with the SOS, he had come through Center Guy practically every day. The abbreviations for the Studs of Shibuya, the name given to a group by Achi when he founded it. Originally just a bunch of like-minded young people hanging out together, it had since become known as the gang that picks fights around Shibuya. The gang had started out little more than a group of local teens. They didn't do much in particular, just horsing around and killing time. What matters is they were having fun. Have fun! Splatoon looks really good. When I get a Switch, I'll have to buy it. But it wasn't long before it was all fun and games. It wasn't all fun and games. Hachi couldn't help but notice the slobs who were making a mess of Shibuya, dirtying it all up. He wasn't about to let them get away with it. Most frequently it was folks who tossed cigarette butts out on the street or plastered walls and graffiti. When they didn't respond to his more gentle warnings, he found slightly more forceful ways of getting his point across. SOS got a reputation. Street punks started trying to pick fights with its members. Those guys required a bit more force to handle. And when it came to the worst of the lot, the drug dealers, the muggers, the guys who tried to full force themselves on women, it was full-on battle, no holds barred. Before long, SOS had established itself as something of a vigilante corps. Soon it became known as one of the biggest gangs in Shibuya. Let's lay low here for a bit and see what happens, Achi said. The alley where they hid was a dimly lit chasm, obscuring them from view. The only problem was figuring out what to do next. They need to find that blue van again, which meant figuring out the best way to get back to Dogonzaka without the man with the cane catching them once more. Achi, Hitomi whispered. I think I can handle myself from here. She got to her feet and gave Achi a deep bow. Whoa, Achi held up a hand. We've been over this already. You're not going to be okay. That guy has a gun. If he let her go up against that assassin alone, he might as well be the one to pull the trigger himself. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me, Hitomi continued as if she hadn't heard him. She started to shuffle out of the alleyway. Hey, what did I just say? Really, Achi, I appreciate your concern, but I can't go in good conscience put you in danger anymore. But, I mean... Achi tried to press the point, but Hitomi cut him off. He got a Rudy Tooty point and shooty. Fucking does. It's not good. There's no good reason for you to risk yourself to keep helping me. Her tone was resolute, but Achi was determined to help her anyway, or Achi knew she had a point and decided to back off. Alright, do we want to press it, or do we want to let her go? What do we think's the play here? Stretch. Ooh, I am crunchy. Hello. But yes, do we have opinions, chat? I like making you guys choose. And then I don't have to make choose. Crunchy. Yes, I'm very crunchy. Press on? Alright. Still, Achi was determined to help her anyway. He refused to back down. Look, I want to help people who are in trouble. What's so wrong about that? Huh? He locked eyes with Hitomi, willing her to understand. I'm not the most dependable guy. I know that. But still, Hitomi dropped her gaze and Achi trailed off, feeling like an idiot. Oh, it's no use. I'm no use. He hung his head with a sigh. Just then, a bit of light shone into the alleyway from above. Looked like someone on the adjacent building's upper floor had turned on the lights. Oh, interesting. So, the red right there is a jump point. Oh, I think I know where they are. Okay, do you guys want me to tell you? Because I know where they are. I've already clued in. I don't know if you guys have. Shred all your... Okay, that is psychic damage. I'm stealing that for a D&D bard. Building. The Nokane Building. This multi-tenant building has 7 floors, but a decade-old urban legend tells of a mysterious 13th floor. A Diet Aid sales demo is being held on one of the upper floors today. So actually, we just saw this scene. It's Tama in that room. That's a storeroom, because this is the Nokane Building where the sales demo is being held for Burning Hammer. I love how everything is so influenced that you can see what the other characters are doing really, really easy, even in other character stories. It's so cool. It feels like they've all very well interconnected. Because that's Tama in that room. And that jump point will be for jumping over to Tama's route again. See? I know this. We can come back to this, though. We won't jump over to Tama's story. We will do that next time. That also means there's going to be a cockroach coming out of that window. I'm 90% sure there's going to be a cockroach coming out of that window. The light illuminated Hitomi's face. When Achi saw the look in her eyes, he reconsidered his decision. She was trying her hardest to hide it, but she was clearly terrified. No way was he letting her go back out there alone. Still, if he tried to insist... it was the cockroach we saw earlier. Actually, I don't think you were here. But no, normal-sized cockroach. You know, about yay big. But no, not a man in a cockroach costume. No. She was trying her... She was trying her hardest to hide it, but she was clearly terrified. No way was he letting her go back out there alone. Still, if he tried to insist, she would only refuse him again. Hitomi, humor me for a second here. Tell me, what's the proper way to dispose of a plastic bottle? She stared at him in surprise. Normal size? Yeah, that thing was... big. They are Japanese cockroaches, so... I have never seen a cockroach, actually. Back home in my dimension where I live, we don't have cockroaches. It's just too cold. So... I've never seen a cockroach in real life, and I don't want to. Well, first you remove the cap and the wrapper. Then you rinse out the inside and crush it. Achi let out a breath he'd been holding. What did it catch? Name calling level 4. What the fuck did you catch? Ugly? They are ugly. How? They are ugly. Why the fuck is that a thing in Automod? Yes, cockroaches are ugly. But oh my god, Automod. That would have been funny too. But Automod specifically cut "they are ugly" as a full fucking sentence. Like, what? I mean, yeah, like, I understand why, but it's funny. Those cockroaches are hurt now. I don't want to experience one in real life. Achi let out a breath he'd been holding. Okay, good. Huh? I don't understand. What's good? Fucking Cabadon. You gave me my reason why I have to help you out. I super respect people who respect the environment. I'm one of those whatchamacallits, an environmentalist. Achi pointed at his mean clean t-shirt. Hitomi hesitated. And what was your plan if I said the answer was toss the plastic in with the trash? Well, then I'd need to stick with you to help teach you. Environmental awareness begins with good education. So then you are going to tag along with me regardless. Look, I'm just super pumped to learn that you care so much about proper recycling. Oh! I'm never coming to your house, Raz. Fuck that, no. Burn it. Burn the whole house. It's the cockroaches now. Burn the whole house. Achi cracked a huge grin. Okay then. Okay. If you're really that sure about it, I guess I could use your help a little longer. Hitomi flashed him with a little smile. Man, she's so cute, Achi thought. I just know the cockroach is gonna fucking land in between them right about now. It's going to happen. Five. Then something else caught his eye. Huh? What's there? Yeah, it's the cockroach! Looked like something black was stuck to the top of her head. Achi, what are you staring at? You've got something stuck there. What? On my head? Without thinking, Hitomi reached up and plucked it off. It was about 10 centimeters long. Its body glistened black, sporting feelers and several pairs of legs. It began to writhe and wriggle between Hitomi's slender fingers. Ah! Achi yelped. It's a cockroach! He jumped backwards, but Hitomi didn't so much as flinch. Oh, sorry, that gave me a bit of a start, he continued. Guess it must have fallen from one of the windows up there. It is a big roach. Still, Hitomi did not move. Hitomi? She didn't appear to hear him. Hello? Hitomi? Oh... With a muffled gurgle, Hitomi passed out on the spot, her body stiff as a mannequin. Oh no! What? Hitomi, are you okay? Hitomi! 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 But no matter how loudly Achi called her name, Hitomi would not come to. We're not gonna eat the roach. No. Why does my hand keep getting stuck up in the air? Come on, down. From that day onwards, Achi devoted even more of his time and energy to collecting trash. Did she just fucking die? What the fuck? Wait, roll this back. Did she just fucking die? It became his personal passion to see that his city was a clean one, devoid of cockroaches. That was the mandate that had been handed, or if nothing else, his atonement. What the fuck? What the fuck is this game? What the fuck? Oh my god. What is this game? I love this game so much. Hitomi fucking died via cockroach. Oh my god, I love this game. Alright. Yeah, I think we'll have time to go through Minorikawa's and we will call it a day. Yeah, that's fair. Minorikawa stood on the sidewalk, weighing his options. Chaiki's place phone call had thrown him for a loop. Chiaki? Is that how you say it? Chiaki was the one with the notebook. That's who I was talking about. The one with the notebook, the cute rings, asking, "Are you satisfied with your life?" That was Chiaki. He had expected her to be anxious about doing interviews, but wow, she was a real basket case. Still, that didn't change the fact that he had a schedule of his own to keep. The surveillance camera story had to be his top priority. Chiaki would just have to find some way to fumble through things on her end. He headed down Dolgonzaka, scanning his surroundings as he went. There were cameras set up on streetlights all over the place. There were so many, it was hard to believe he'd never noticed them before. One over there, another just over here. Electronic eyes peering down on passerbys from high above, where they were tougher to spot. Just how were the people who came to Shibuya reacting to the situation? "Hey, you there!" Minori called out to a man riding by on a bicycle. "Hey, you, stop!" "Hey, it's him!" The man. Taisei Yusuda, proprietor of a knickknacks shop in Udagawacho. Roughly 30 minutes earlier, while he was wandering along the JR tracks picking up lost and abandoned items, Achi foisted off his trash onto him, so he's in a bit of a foul mood. Since then, he's been going along with his bicycle, still picking up things from the roadside. There's a trunk on the back of his bike where he stores his finds. "Huh? What's the matter?" he asked. "Hi, the name's Minorikawa. I'm a freelance writer." Okay. "I'm just doing interviews for a magazine, and I'd like to talk to you." "Magazine? Which one?" 4-Star General Gossip. Minorikawa did his best to sound proud. "Oh, well, I'm actually in a bit of a hurry here." Minorikawa sold to John. "See that?" He pointed out one of the nearby surveillance cameras. "What?" the man asked. "The blimp?" The massive blimp was indeed drifting slowly overhead. A blimp, a type of aircraft that floats using lift powered by an enormous envelope filled with lighter-than-air gas. This envelope, the balloon, is often used for corporate advertising. This particular blimp has been puttering about the skies above Shibuya since last night. Yeah, this blimp has been wandering around in the background. If you look in the background at some other scenes, you can see this blimp wandering around. No, the camera! The camera watched them both in uncaring silence. "Oh, that. What about it?" "What do you mean, what about it? Those cameras have been installed all throughout Shibuya. They're taking in anything and everything. Privacy be damned." A shocked pallor came to the man's face. "Oh, really?" He muttered uneasily to himself. "I guess I should be careful next time I go picking stuff up." "Hey, what are you talking about?" Minorikawa asked. "Oh, nothing, just stuff." Way to dodge the question entirely. "Anyhow, I think there's some good things about the cameras too," the man said hurriedly. "Oh?" Minorikawa asked, "such as?" "Well, I mean, they must have helped catch some crooks, right?" "Yeah, I think you're right about that." "Oh, I am?" The man looked shocked to have his own statement confirmed. "Are you hiding something from me?" "Huh? No, nothing in particular." The man shook his head vehemently. "Nothing at all, really." "Well, whatever," Minorikawa said. "In any case, even if the cameras are helping in arresting criminals, there are some places where people just don't want to be watched." "What?" "For instance, how would you like it if someone set up a security camera inside your home?" "What do you mean?" "I mean, a burglar might try to get into your home. If you had a security camera, you'd be alerted right away." Isn't that kind of an extreme argument? Nope. You're the one making the extreme argument here. God damn it, Minorikawa! What? The man stared, bewildered. "You're saying it's okay for folks to film people around town as much as they might like, but not to take a look inside people's houses?" Yeah, I guess I am," the man mumbled. Minorikawa snorted. "You don't think too deeply about things, do you?" he mocked. The man huffed in indignation. I don't see the problem, he said. I mean, it's normal enough opinion to want to bring down crime but also protect privacy. Well, yeah, so if they're just going to set up cameras around town, I'm okay with that. Minorikawa grinned inwardly. You're being naive, he said. Way too naive. Naive about what? And now the man was getting worked up. Once you start letting people watch you some of the time, you'll eventually let them do it more and more. That's how the world works. A simple change in camera angles is all it would take to steal the last traces of your privacy away. That's kind of funny coming from you. Doesn't 4-star general gossip get all its scuttlebutt from invading the privacy of others? Since when are you people concerned with personal privacy? Meaning what exactly? Minorikawa asked. You know damn well what I mean. Have you no shame? I've got nothing to be ashamed about, Minorikawa exclaimed. If some celebrity scandal breaks, I write up in the form of a top-class, socially conscious expose. That's the Minorikawa seal of quality. The man rolled his eyes. Please, as if anyone ever heard of that. Your everyday freelance reporter would say something about how security firms have no right to use cameras to disrupt personal privacy. But not me. Oh no. I'm the only guy who'd write a first-class piece on the subject. And you want to know why? The man's only response was a doubtful look. Because privacy only exists for me to utterly demolish it. What? Minorikawa, what? Minorikawa, this man, fuck, I love him. I love all the characters so much. They're so interesting. If not a little bit stupid sometimes. I love them. I have a thing for stupid characters. I don't know why. I find them so endearing. Minorikawa finished with a prideful grin. That's nothing but your journalistic arrogance, the man railed. Oh yeah? Yeah, I'd rather have surveillance cameras any day, if the alternative's some weird gossip piece. This time, Minorikawa didn't have a handy retort. I'm sorry! No! I'm not saying you're stupid, I love you. I love you because you're cute and adorable and the little dragon. That's why I love you, not because you're stupid. An awkward silence. An awkward... Look, I'm not more homosexual. It's more... That's really funny though. It'd be closer to the romance, like, oh my god, you're so stupid. I'm taking you home with me. We're not having sex, I'm making you dinner. Cause you're too stupid to make your own. I'm gonna shut up now. An awkward silence descended over the pair. Right, I see. Minorikawa muttered to himself as he visibly... I'm sorry. Oh my god, really, Automod? OMG, you're stupid? That's so specific! But yes, OMG, you're stupid. I'm adding you to my collection. Game night is Wednesdays. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. That is the vibe. But OMG, you're stupid is so specific. What the fuck? The man was visibly taken aback. Thank you for your cooperation, Minorikawa said at last. You gave me some good stuff. He held up a hand to forestall an angry retort. I realize I probably got you a bit riled up there. You'll have to forgive me. What? The man peered up at Minorikawa in disbelief. This is just my interview style. Sorry, I know it's a little unorthodox. Buddy, you're a weirdo. You know that, the man said. Yeah, I hear that a lot, Minorikawa laughed. So can I go now? Sure, I'll quote you as a passerby A in my article. Sure, whatever, the man muttered. quickly sped off his bicycle. Minodaka now had some materials for his surveillance camera piece. He wanted to organize what he'd managed to put together so far. He decided to head towards the next interview location, keeping an eye out for a cafe where he could stop to work on his copy. He used the map included in the project proposal to guide him. It was hard to read the words and make out the details, but it looked like the Nokune building where the Burning Hammer demo was being held, just down the center guy. There was no indication of which floor the event would be held on, however. That made him a little anxious, but he'd probably be able to find someone to point him in the right direction once he got to the building. He spotted a cafe up ahead. "Coffee, please," he shouted as he strode inside. He slumped down in an open chair. Hopefully he'd be able to hole up in here until 1 o'clock working on his article. If he couldn't have it done by then, finishing the whole issue by the end of the day would be a tall order. He pulled a cigarette from his overcoat as he waited for the computer to boot up. Having a smoke was Minorikawa's little trigger for going into writing mode. Oops. Writing mode. The state of being in a mode to write some text. As Minorikawa goes about his job, he switches between writing mode, interview mode, food mode, and sleep mode. When busy, he'll sometimes go into his writing mode and food mode at the same time, sometimes even straying into sleep mode in the midst of food mode. Even when he's even busier, he'll eat and write mid-interview while nodding off. This is known as ultimate mode. Oh my god. He stuck the cigarette in his mouth and lit it up. With the first heavy draw of smoke, he felt his mind focus. The rough idea for his article came into his head nearly fully formed. All he needed to do now was get it all written down. Finally, his laptop finished booting up. "Took you long enough, pal," he muttered to the computer. His hand leapt to the keyboard like a predator pouncing on his prey. In a matter of moments, he had hit his stride. His fingers clicked away. One by one, lines of text filled up the screen. It's so extra, I love it. A waitress stepped up beside him. "Excuse me, sir." But Minorikawa was in writing mode. He didn't even hear her. "Sir?" "Sir, I beg your pardon." Again, Minorikawa was deaf to the waitress's attempts to get his attention. "Sir, excuse me." The waitress smacked the table. "Quiet," Minori snapped and slammed the table right back. "Don't interrupt me when I'm working. Not if you know what's good for you." The waitress didn't so as much flinch. She leaned in aggressively, getting right in Minorikawa's face. Waitress: Ikumi Omiyama, employee at the Ko-Labo Cafe. While appearing cute and demure at first glance, she's quite strong-willed and frightening when angry. She works nights at a place called the Scolding Pub, where customers rent private rooms in which they are scolded at length by attractive girls. One middle-aged businessman once told her, "Your face looks simply marvelous when you're angry." Okay. "Sir, I hate to bother you, but I have to ask you to please refrain from smoking." Minorikawa blinked. "Huh?" "This is a non-smoking establishment, sir." "No smoking?" Minorikawa asked. The cigarette bobbed in his mouth as he spoke. The waitress pointed sharply to the sign on the wall. The words "no smoking" were spelled out clear as day. So, for anyone who doesn't know, it used to be very commonplace for smoking to be completely allowed in Japanese establishments. And there's still cafes and stuff where you can still freely smoke. So, that's why he went in kind of assuming he could. "Well, we ask the patrons to please not smoke so that other customers can fully enjoy the aroma of their coffee." The waitress drew herself up in an arrogant triumph. The woman sitting at the table next made a face as she tried to fan the smoke away from her with her hands. Customers all around the shop were glaring at him. "You guys don't know the first thing about the aroma of coffee," Minorikawa scoffed. "Oh my god, you fucking moron!" The scent of coffee only truly comes to life amidst the choking stench of tobacco smoke. The waitress's only response was to jab her finger again. But this time she didn't point at the sign. She pointed at the door. "Sir, if you're going to smoke, please take it outside." Sometime later, sitting inside the Café La Tresse, Minorikawa lit up his third cigarette. At last, a safe refuge. It had taken him quite some time to find a place that allowed smoking after he got kicked out of the first cafe. In recent years, many cafes and restaurants have phased out the concept of the smoking session in favor of prohibiting smoking across the board. This makes a place like La Tresse especially important to smokers. There are large air vents in the ceiling to keep the interior more agreeable for those who do not smoke. Alright, it is 3:55. I think this is a good calm place to cut it off. So tomorrow I'll be streaming at regular time. Wednesday is my birthday, so please come and visit me on my birthday. I would very much enjoy that. We are going to look for somebody to raid here quickly. As a reminder, if you guys are interested in sending money my way or giving me presents just because, like, it's that time of year and people like giving presents, shall I get my space tickets? Possibly. I do have a Ko-fi and a throne if you guys are interested in that. I know Arthur has already bought me a gift, which is, like, so fucking sweet. And of course, no obligation. I just know that some people like to give gifts at this time of year, and that's the easiest way to do it. Emmy, you and I should meet up sometime, though. Maybe not during this, maybe come January, but you and I will definitely have to meet up and chill sometime. Let's see, who is on? So, we have Distracted Elf, who is playing Dwarf Fortress. We have Raymond, who's playing Monster Prom. We have Corvus, who is also playing Monster Prom. I presume they are in a collab. And we have Angel, who is playing D&D. Do we have a preference? Yes, show me your briefcase. That sounds amazing. Do we have a preference on who we want to go visit today? So again, you can go watch Dwarf Fortress, Monster Prom, or D&D. Not really? Alright. What is this? Amazing. Alright, if we don't have a preference, who have I not raided recently? I'm trying to remember. Did Corvus get a new model? When did Corvus update his model? It looks good. But I didn't know he updated his model. Oh no, that's a different person. Where is Corvus's model on his screen? Oh, I understand. As I yell about my friends. Alright. Oh, Ray's on her subathon. We should raid Ray because Ray is on her subathon and we love supporting those. Alright. Well, it was good seeing you, everyone, and I will be back tomorrow. Maybe with this game again, maybe with a different game. We will see how I am feeling. Alright. Goodbye, everyone!